Welcome, welcome. I am Diane, and my guest today is Nick Sakes, guitarist for Minneapolis based Upright Forms. They'll be releasing their first album in June. It's called Blurred Wires and will be put out by the Skingraft Records label. You may also know Nick from being a member of the Dazzling Killmen, or perhaps Sicbay, or Colossamite, or Xanax. He'll tell you about a very unusual request that he got from Steve Albini, his take on guitar lessons, the Northern Lights, and more spectacular topics. Here's Nick Sakes. Aha. Nick
Heard
Sakes.
that. Hello.
How are you?
I'm dandy. Good to see you again.
It's good to see you too. And you're doing music. I don't want to say again. I have a sneaking suspicion that you steadily do music, but then you sort of come up for air and show the world things.
There was a while I go through this pattern of that's it, I'm done with music, and then like I was just telling someone else, my body seems to go to my guitar, and my body starts calling people and forming a band, and my brain says, hey, what's going on? And before I know it, there's another band I'm in. And it's kind of what happened here. I just do it. I don't know. It just happens. I start to get the gears turning, and pretty soon here I am talking to Dianekamikaze.
Well, so can you tell us about Upright Forms?
Yeah. We're a three-piece, Minneapolis. I would say it is basically rock music. It's a bass drum guitar, two vocals. The two other guys are old friends of mine, kind of from the Minneapolis scene that I've known for years and years and years. And I don't know. The scene here is pretty amazing as far as finding people to form a band with, and cheap practice spaces and other supportive bands and cool venues. So it's kind of an ideal environment. I'm almost really spoiled living here, I feel like. We have a new album called Blurred Wires on Skingraft Records that's actually coming out on June 28th, pre-order at Bandcamp. Let's see, the web address is http colon no, I don't know what the http, I don't know what the web address is. Your phone probably heard me say it anyway, and it's already in there.
Shut my phone off.
The algorithms are already guiding you. And let's see, I don't know. Maybe another point of reference as far as my musical past goes would be it's sort of maybe sounds like Sicbay of all the bands I've been in. It's not super tough, muscular math rock, arg arg arg. I mean, there's some melody in there, but there's some hard, soft, kind of Husker Du-y, hard, nice, hard, yin yang thing going on.
Is that a deliberate choice to sort of pull away from the angular sort of?
I think there's some of that in there. I think there is a lot of democracy going on with those guys. Noah, the bass player, will write a lot of more melodic riffs that we might Frankenstein together one of my angular tough riffs onto. But it's very, we actively put together the songs in practice, and we edit together always, and it's not like one person has ownership of a certain song. So I think everyone has their where they're coming from. I mean, and I don't know, it's a good soup. Soup, the soup tastes good.
Excellent. Well, so out of your other bands, which would you say was mostly you? Or if, you know,
Oh, good question. Ah,
no, because you're talking about
maybe
collaboration.
Sicbay. I don't know. This one, I don't know. Mostly me. I don't. Yeah, I think I have always defaulted toward the vocal comedy relief person in a lot of bands I've been in, because frankly, no one else wants to sing. I'm like, sure, I'll do it. It's kind of been like that. But Dazzling, Killmen, and Colossamite were definitely composery kind of situations. So members would come in and just say, here's this song, you do this, you do that, and it goes like this. And it was very specific. And then when it came time to do lyrics, it's like, well, should probably start doing that now. And so I was left to my own devices. And this sometimes this is different in a way that I maybe will hear a vocal line and come up with a guitar riff to go with a vocal line, which is kind of new. Be out riding my bike, and a couple of times I've just had this, repeating uh, phrase or something. And now that we live in the modern world, I have my bike, I have my iPhone like attached to my stem of my bike. I remember, and I'll like push the voice memo while I'm riding and like sing it into the phone, and so I won't forget it. Good old iPhones. The voice memo on the iPhone is perhaps the most used tool by bands these days, I think, from what I've talked to.
I use it as well. Yeah.
It's just a vast sea of things that say riff two part B, never to be, and many things never to be heard again, just falls into the voice memo pile. And then I guess one loses their phone and then they're all gone. I don't know. So
But sometimes once you capture something, you end up remembering it. Like I notice that I do that. If I put it into a voice memo, and I use it more for reminders and things like that. But the fact that I've done it and taken a moment to remind myself of something, I don't even have to go back and check the voice memos. I'll notice, be like, oh right, I did 3 memos today, and I'll be like, oh right, it's that and that and that.
I do that with alarms a lot. I rarely an alarm will alert me of something because I'm always anticipating like, oh, the alarm's going to go off, and I always end up turning it off before the event. Even for this, I had the alarm set. I'm like, why did I do that? Why do I keep setting alarms? I never use them. But yeah, I'm kind of the opposite. I'm pretty one, I don't know. I'm pretty forgetful when it comes to riffs and vocals. I hate to say, I'm so forgetful. I used to get bummed out when I would see singers in bands with their music stands and their lyrics there. I'd say, oh, but gosh, I sometimes yearn for that because I'll do what I call yabba doing and go, like or something.
And somebody in the audience is going, he doesn't know his own
Yeah,
words.
he doesn't know his own songs. Oh my God, this is not a professional entertainment unit. I want my money back. This is an outrage. Yes, little trade secret. If I fake some words sometimes because the old brain has got some miles on it.
Well, sometimes you have to. It's not the worst thing
Mhm.
in the world.
Can't see it from the road, they say. I don't know, something like that.
What does that mean?
If there's a mistake, I don't know. My old boss used to say that. I think about painting furniture or something. Like if there was a little blemish, he's like, I can't see it from the road. That was like he'd always say.
Oh,
So I don't know.
that's very specific. I've never heard that phrase before.
It's a rural Missouri. Must be. There's a lot of country sayings that I picked up down in Arkansas too. What do you know good? That's what they'd say down there too. That's another one. Like, what do you know good? Like instead of what do you know? What do you know good?
Well, I don't want to know about anything bad. Tell me something good, Nick.
Well, I don't know if you heard this, but I'm doing very well health wise. I couple of let's see, what has it been about a year and a half ago? I had a cardiac arrest and died and and was CPR'd until I got to the hospital. And as you know, spoiler alert, I made it okay. I'm sitting here talking to you, and I have a new implant device that is a defibrillator now. So,
Wow.
which is sad to say in this day we have today, which is kind of a segue to the horrible news about Steve Albini.
Yeah.
And he was not so lucky. And but yeah, good. Got other than that, I can't complain. I kind of have a nice life here. I've working as a working for an architectural company doing drafting and as I always did. And I have health insurance. It's amazing. So
That is
all good. So
something.
all systems go.
Well, since you mentioned Steve Albini, I know he produced a Dazzling Killmen record, right?
Yeah, a couple. Well, as he would say, he's not a producer. Like he always made that a big sticking, like, oh, I don't produce that. But yes, he did Face of Collapse and Dig Out the Switch. Um, but it's funny that I'm being picky about what he was picky about being called a producer. But I think he did a lot of suggesting of things and dissuading of like, hey, we really want to double this guitar. No, I wouldn't do that. Things like that, or like talk you into keeping a take that you just hated. No, don't. Oh, it's perfect. Or I think that's a little bit producing, if you ask me.
Yeah.
And as I recall, he did a lot of that. Maybe that was back in the old days. That was 93. We did the first one in 91 and recorded, mixed, and I think mastered the first album in one day at his house, at his studio. We did it, got started like 9 in the morning and finished like at 2 a.m. on a Saturday, one freaking day. And that was a hard day. But yeah, but I kind of lost touch with him. I mean, I saw him about 10 years ago, just briefly at a show in Chicago. We just said, "Hey, hi," that's about it.
Do you
But
have any specific recollections about him from the recording sessions?
I have some funny stories. Well, not I don't know, they're not funny. They're really kind of amazing. The one I witnessed, we I feel like it's almost rock history. We were taking a break from recording, I believe Face of Collapse. That's probably the timing. We were just hanging out in his living room watching TV, and a UPS driver came to the door as they do all the time at his house and delivered a record. And he took it, opened the box, and it was Nirvana in Utero. And he had not heard it. This is the first time. It's like, wow, here it is. Look at this. Took it out, put it on the record player. We're watching him do this, and he put the needle on. After, you know, a little bit of time, he said, well, they fucked up a perfectly decent, perfectly good record. And then he said, I can't believe my name's on this. It sounds like a fucking beer commercial. And then he just turned it off and walked away and went upstairs. And we're like, wow. And later that day, he played us his mix of In Utero up in the control room. It was really good. I
Wow.
think those mixes were later released on that 30-year In Utero box set. And yeah, that was wild. And let's see what else. Oh, he asked me in all seriousness if I would want to be photographed naked on a swing set in a playground for the cover of Shellac at Action Park. And I said, oh, come on, you're what are you talking about? He's like, no, I'm dead serious. You know, here's your chance. Will you do it? And I couldn't tell if he was serious or not, but at the end, I'm like, yeah, I think he means this. And I eventually, thank God, I said, no, I can't do that. And it makes me wonder how many other uh, swarthy large men he asked to do that job. I don't know.
Wow.
It was fun. And when we were at his house recording, there was kind of a parade of people coming and going, and David Yao was in the house doing drywall work, and Rick Sims from the Digits was hanging around doing work on his house, and the guys from Drag City came in, interrupted us one day, literally talked to him for 2 hours, like, which we were annoyed by. So, but he would answer the phone all day, like in the middle of mixing, in the middle of recording. The phone would ring on the mixing board, and he'd just pick it up. Studio. I don't know if he still did that, but it was amazing. He would just work and talk to people. If you called, he'd pick it up and just talk to you. There was no answering machine, no secretary, nothing.
Wow.
So I don't know. There's some crazy memories. That was our first foray into recording our band on mine and my whole life. But I mean, back then there weren't a lot of options. I mean, we were from St. Louis. We had this band, but there weren't all these home studios. We didn't know what to do, and we liked Killdozer albums and DeCroixson and all these, like, so we figured out, Butch Vig, he was the guy to do it. And we'd been to Madison. Well, how do you get in touch with Butch Vig? We didn't know. It's like, and look him up in the yellow pages, or another thing. How do you find someone back in the 1990? So I called David Yao. It's like to try to get Butch Vig's phone number. And David said, why don't you have Steve do it? I said, I don't know. I don't know him. Like, oh yeah, it's right here. Yeah, here, talk to him. And then just set it up. So that's how that happened. And now, everybody's got a studio. It's amazing.
Yeah.
We recorded the Upright Forms album with our friend Noel Tate, who has a studio in his basement. And he's a great engineer, and it sounds phenomenal. Todd Rittman of US Maple, Dead Rider, mastered it.
Oh wow.
It's just really, really, really happy with how it turned out.
Was there anything that Steve Albini did during any of your sessions with the Dazzling Killmen that you sort of took on as habit when you recorded? Like, I don't know, any particular way he set things up or anything that he taught you?
I'm trying to think. Not that I can think of. I think most of the time when I do vocal takes, it's usually the first or second take. I've never done, I hear about people doing like 50 takes of like, I think he encouraged that warts and all takes, like, oh, that's got your personality in it, you know. And I think that I'm a little loosey goosey that way. Like if it's not what I consider a perfect take, I'm much more open to just like, oh yeah, my voice did something weird, just leave it, you know. Probably that, I would think. I can't, but you know, and drums. I mean, I'm not a drummer, but his ability to tune a drum set was just phenomenal. And tuning drums is, I don't think any of us in the band had any idea how important or amazing a drum kit could sound. And he wasn't even a drummer, but that guy could, my God, he could tune a drum set. Just make it explode. It was incredible. So that's really all I can think of. That's a good question.
That's pretty cool, though. Do you think that Blake took any of that with him?
I think so. Yeah, definitely. He, you know, we put on fresh drum heads always, and I think we might have taken that from that recording. Is he, you know, he put on new drum heads. Like we'd go on tour like every couple of days, like every few days. But I mean, he would hit pretty hard and they would break. But yeah, that kind of spoiled us, you know. Like we were like once we knew the drums could sound that good, like we didn't want to go backwards.
Sure. Yeah. Once you hear that, it's like, wait, that's
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, that was wild. Like being in his basement and hearing him sort of tapping away, tuning it. Took him a long time, and then he sat down and just started playing all of them, and their jaws dropped. Like, oh my God, it just, you know, sounds 15 times louder than it ever sounded. That was incredible. It was really fun.
I'm sure that set the tone for you, even if not in specific habits, but how to look at recording and how to hear drums and that kind of thing from then on. You know?
Yeah, and also with the amps too. We had our own amps, but they sounded like crap in his studio. I remember Tim, the other guitar player, ended up doing most of his tracking on this really old, really tiny Gibson amp, just cranked all the way up with a mic right on it. And that ended up sounding phenomenal. Like, you know, we had, you know, our normal 412 big cabinets and powerful amps and stuff, but that was another lesson, you know. You know, something like a shitty beaten up Gibson amp from the 50s might sound totally killer, turned all the way up on a record, and it turns out something like that did sound that good.
Did he have like a lot of amps to choose from? Was he one of those
Yeah,
guys?
fair amount. Yeah, not a lot back then. I think, God, I keep talking about him in the present. It's just like, I don't think he does. Like,
I think that's okay.
um, yeah, it's so fresh. It's bizarre. Yeah, I mean, it was his house. It had a small house in Chicago on North Francisco Avenue, and you know, a regular basement with kind of a live room and where the drums were, and then this long isolation kind of hallway with where the amps went. But yep.
That is wild.
Mm-hmm.
Very cool. So I saw that in 2020 there was a Colossamite thing, like an AC/DC cover.
Oh, that's been out. That was out, I think, in the 90s.
Really?
Yeah, maybe it was a reissue or
So I
something.
guess Photograph might have made a thing of it. And
Yeah, I think they might have compiled. They were all these AC/DC covers. Like there was
Yeah.
a series of 4 bands, kind of like the Dopes, Guns, and Fucking. There were 4 bands doing AC/DC covers. Called, I think he called them Sides, the Sides series.
Like that. Yeah, I don't remember what.
And we made a really bizarre hybrid. Used some of an Angus Young's interview questions, talking about the formation of AC/DC, talking about cartoons and the Wile E. Coyote. And I remember him in the song, I think he says something like, "To us, them things were people." It's just, that's in the song, and we got a little creative with that.
Yeah, I
But
guess I didn't know the song, so I thought it was newer. I was just looking at like the Skin Graft
no,
Bandcamp
well,
area.
those two, Ed Rodriguez and John Dietrich, the guitar players in Colossamite, have been in Deerhoof for years and years. They're the 2 guitar players in Deerhoof currently. John lives down the street, so we see each other all the time.
Oh, fair enough.
Yeah.
Awesome. So, what does this project mean to you? Your new, like, Upright Farms. You said it was a little while before you did, since you had done music.
Hmm. Um. I don't know. I'm blanking out on that. What does it mean to me? It's like I don't even think about it too much. I think it's just I'm sorry. I can't. I don't know. It means nothing. I don't know.
It means
I don't
absolutely.
know. I think it's just so close to my being that I can't step away and look at it. I don't know.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
just something, like I said, I've always done, that my body just seems to go there and start doing it. And I feel I f- I feel healthy when I make music. I think it comes down to just good old fashioned endorphins and my mental health.
yeah.
I think it's like just rewarding for my brain to do something creative, to get that part of my brain working. It's kind of like exercise, kind of like when I ride my bike too. I always try to think of things like that as my psych drugs almost.
Right. The things that
Um,
feed your soul, like
yeah,
they feed
yeah. Dare I use the term spiritual? I mean, but look at it. It's behind me.
I
See
know.
that?
I'm mesmerized.
Yeah, that's the Lord right there. That's what he looks like. That's God.
The green gloopy.
Yeah, the green flowing robes.
Yeah. Awesome.
His bearded face is just out of the frame, but
I
yes,
saw it
those are
before
his robes.
it came. It was in there before slightly, but
Hmm.
you bring up an interesting point because I am at certainly at an age that does keep on advancing, and you find the things that really make a difference for you to do, and you find the time to do them. I
Hmm.
mean, as far as I know, you've been doing music for over 30 years, but you'll probably tell me you've been doing it for longer.
No, I picked up a guitar for the first time when I was 26. I never played in a band in high school. There wasn't. I mean, I grew up in Arkansas, and it's sort of a small college town, and there was nobody had a band. It was not a culture where, oh yeah, kids have rock garage bands, and like nobody did. And it just seemed impossible until I moved after high school, moved up to the St. Louis area where my grandparents lived, and I started hanging out with people that had bands, and I saw like, oh, you can actually do this. And then I got the bug, and after a few years just hanging around, going to shows with my friends' bands, I'm like, this can't be too mysterious. I'm gonna try it, and must have felt good. Here I am.
Well, that's what you find out about yourself after time. You know, like
Hmm.
the things that you do that you want to hang on to and keep on doing, and the things that you're like, yeah, I'm done with that. Like,
And I always, if there's a new thing, most of the time the thought is, look at all these people doing it. It can't be that hard, you know, and or I think I could do better than that. That was always the thought. I'd read Maximum Rock and Roll or Flipside and just look at the reviews and just page after page after page, you know, issue after issue, going, well, this can't be that hard. Like, look at all these people doing this.
right.
Like, come on, it's not a mystery. And it turns out it isn't a mystery. You know,
Yeah.
coming up with a catchy tune. Now that's where it gets down to. That's what feels good, you know, when you have an idea and it starts to take shape. Of course.
And I'm guessing that it's always been creating for yourself, or
Yeah, for sure. My goal has always been, if I walked into a venue or somewhere where a band was playing, what would blow me away. You know, I'm not saying that my bands were like that, but that's always, you know, the ultimate goal. Like if I didn't know anything, and it's happened before, not knowing who's playing that night and just coming in and, like, say, an opening band you've never heard of, just being like, what in the hell is this? You know, that feeling of, you know, looking at your friend going, are you seeing this? You know, just like occasionally there are those moments. I live for those. And I don't know, I kind of want to be that band that someone might say that about.
yeah, yeah. Well, I'm sure. How many? How often are you gigging right now?
We're not too often. We're about to do some out of town shows. Our first set of out of town shows down Chicago, Madison, Milwaukee. Probably going to head down to St. Louis and Kansas City. Talking about actually going to Europe next year, which strangely enough might be easier to tour over there than set up a tour in the US. I mean, that's kind of been the theme is you get treated better over there, you get better money, but the catch is you have to kind of leave your life behind and
Yeah.
you well have regular 40-hour a week jobs. But or you can be like tonight, for instance, I'm going down the street to see that band Ultra Bomb with Craig Norton from Husker Du.
Oh wow.
He's got a new band. I mean, he's 65. I mean, he's I guess he used to be a chef. He had a restaurant down in Red Wing, Minnesota. But I mean, there you go. He was just on a month-long tour with me first and the Gimme Gimmes. And
Oh wow.
yeah, I don't know. I'm 60. I turned 60 this year or last year. Hit the big 60.
A good one.
Yep. I don't feel 60. Well, I do sometimes with I say that with my implants and my hearing aids and all that shit.
Well,
My my glucose sensor. Oh, there it is.
oh right. Yeah.
Yeah, the diabetes, the heart, other than the diabetes, heart problem, bad hearing, and I'm fit as a fiddle.
But
Oh
you're
yeah, I had
getting
knee
there.
surgery a month ago. Other than all those 14 things, I'm holding up.
Well, you look great and you
Oh,
sound really good, and I love that you're doing another band. You
oh,
know, all of
cool.
your bands have this sort of like burnt but brutal edge to them that I really, really love. So I'm
I think
looking forward to.
I really like this band. I for it this album is I'm really proud of it. I'm happy. I can't wait to show people. That's a good feeling.
Yeah,
Look
yeah.
what I did.
Woo. So, is there anything that you've taken on, whether it's like learning more about guitar or just kind of broadening your horizons lately? Anything that's sort of opened you up interest wise?
I think one new thing, there is one new thing about this band that is it to me is Noah, the bass player, sings on a couple of songs, and he sings with me, like kind of backup or another part, like we'll take turns. I've never done that. No one's wanted to do that in any band I've been in, and that's been it's it's shown me how much how I have to kind of just let it go. Like I find myself kind of like, oh, am I a control freak about this? I never thought I was, but I no, it's been really good. He's really good. It's a different flavor. It's a different sound of voice. It's different lyrics. I get out of his way. He can do it. I don't try to get in there and tell him anything. It's just trusting another person. I mean, to do a creative output with other people is already a challenge. I mean, and I think that's been just relax and trust who you're with, your bandmates, and not and this is they're really good guys to play with. I really trust their take on things and their opinions on what a song should do at a certain point, or like when another person does vocals. I mean, that's never happened in all my bands. First time.
That's cool. So,
Yeah.
how long did it take to record your album?
What?
How long did it take to record your album?
Um, well, the lucky thing about it is you know, in this modern time, it probably took all told like maybe 4 days. But again, like now we're talking about going to Chicago and recording at a studio, or this is our friend's house and it's on a computer, and we did our takes kind of in a maybe 2 days, just drive over there. He has a new baby, and he's like, oh, hold on. He'd go take care of his kid, and then we'd do some more takes. I mean, then we'd go home and come back. Oh, what are you doing Tuesday night? Yeah, you want to meet and do those guitar overdubs? So it was very spread out, and he would do some preliminary mixes and just email them to us, and then we just communicate via email or text, and then he'd send us the fixes. That's really a hard question. Like, I don't know. I didn't keep track of. I think the whole process was a couple of weeks, but we didn't work all day and all night for 2 weeks. It was just like a little bit here, a little bit there. And it's really nice to do that. I mean, 2-inch tape used to be so expensive. Oh my God. No tape. It's a miracle. The modern days, I mean, it's so much different. It's so easy. But at the same time, it can be a little bit like, well, you can go down the path of obsessing over a take or obsessing over it too much and just end up never being satisfied or getting too perfection-y, which we manage not to do, even though I don't know. I did a couple of vocal takes on a few songs, but again, I did it most of them in the first take, which I think that was satisfying. And in listening to it recently, there aren't any parts where usually there's some little part on a recording where I'll kind of wince, like, oh, dang it, why did I put that pronunciation or do something but this one I don't have
No
any
wincing?
any little blips that stick out. So it's satisfying still. Give it time, and then pretty soon you're like, oh God, turn that off. I don't want to hear that again. Right now I'm in the golden weeks.
Right. You're
Where
anticipating.
I can still listen to it and have fun. And then it just becomes like, oh God, no, turn that off. That's what it's always been.
What formats is it going to be released in?
Vinyl, CD, and of course on your streamings,
Mm-hmm.
Bandcamp.
That's very cool.
Yeah, not cassette. I thought maybe it was going to be, but apparently the kids are buying cassettes again.
I've heard that.
I've yet to see it. I don't know how they're listening to them. Do they still make cassette decks? I guess they do. Whoever they are.
I don't have a reliable one. Somebody recently offered to send me a cassette of their newest project, and I declined.
Yeah,
Not, you know.
I I don't know. I don't get it. I mean, why not just go all the way and just do an 8-track? I mean, I had 8 tracks of all my favorite albums back when I was a kid.
So did I. And they would change programs in the middle of songs.
Oh yeah.
Junk.
Oh yeah. Fade out, fade in.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah.
Is there anything like when you started? Because now we're looking at your career. Like
Yeah, suddenly it's a career.
but for real, I mean, and you have a particular sound that really does flow all the way through your releases, but that's a really cool thing. Is there anything that you wish you had known when you were first starting out, or something that you thought you had done, maybe if you had done it differently, that you're
I probably would have taken guitar lessons. I have never taken a guitar lesson. I was told by my bandmates, who were incredible musicians and music students, don't worry about it. You don't need this. You don't need theory. You come up with riffs just fine. Don't fix it if it ain't broke.
okay.
But I really have lately been thinking about taking guitar lessons after all this time. I mean, I'm so pathetic. I don't really know any like notes on the neck of the guitar, or I mean, I do some, but
How do you
if someone
communicate?
says like, "Oh, this song's in G," I'm like, I don't know what that means. I mean, some notes don't work and some do, I think. I don't know. I really, but here's a funny story. In doing this, I read that Dwayne Dennison of the Jesus Lizard gives online guitar lessons, and I booked one. Like, oh shit, I'm friends with him, so I just thought it would be fun. Like, now the miracle of Zoom, like you and I are talking, that Dwayne and I would hang out, and I don't know, and then after I did that, I go, well, what the hell what do I want out of this? This guy's like a virtuoso player guy. And like, okay, I'll just see what happens. And somehow the time got screwed up. I booked it for what I thought was noon, but on the app it was for East Coast time. And I was taking a nap and I woke up and Dwayne had sent me a message like, "Here I am, where are you?" And I'm like, "Oh shit." So I missed it. And then I chickened out and canceled it. And he sent me all these notes like, "Oh, here's some exercises I was gonna send you." And like all this like written out music. And I like started sweating, like, I don't know how to do this. So like that was my attempt at a guitar lesson after all this time. That was my only time, was about 3 weeks ago.
But then how do you communicate when you're writing with the rest of the band? Like if you've got a riff, you
I
just
picked
play it and they
I
figure it
picked
out.
people that know what I'm playing, that remember what I did on a certain song that I forget. That's the sad truth. Like, no, you were going from A sharp to B. I'm like, I was? Really? Cool. I don't know. I just know what my fingers do.
Yeah. Well,
What dot? I mean, someone said, well, I say, oh, I just know what dot to put my chords by on the neck of the guitar. I'm so darn dumb. And then someone pointed out, it's like, well, that's why they put the dots on there, like to help you.
sure.
Like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, maybe other people think this way. I don't know.
But I wonder if taking a lesson could, I mean, not ruin things, but kind of, like you have a style and you do things in a particular way, and I don't know if that would have you sort of double checking yourself, like
It
is this
mo- I think that was the fear of my Dazzling Killmen bandmates, that it would and I maybe make kind of take away that naivete and make it more standard and boring or something. But they wrote most of the music of those songs, so I didn't write a lot of those songs. I wrote a few riffs here and there, but um, I don't know. I still might. It's one of those. I don't want to say middle age because I'm 60. This is like late middle age. Like like I'm gonna go skydiving. I'm gonna take a guitar lesson. One of those.
take a
I'm
guitar
gonna take
lesson
up take
while
up a
you're
new hobby.
skydiving?
Huh?
Take a guitar lesson while you're skydiving.
Yes, yes,
That would be the thing.
yes. What I'm saying is I'm finally gonna learn the damn guitar.
There
We're
you
just
go.
talking about my career, my new foray into the world of playing guitar. But Nick, you've been doing it not correctly. I've been doing it wrong and wrong well for over 30 years.
I like that. I do like that because it's not wrong. There's no right or wrong. Only to people who know how to play the
Yeah,
guitar. You're playing
it's
it incorrectly.
outsider guitar playing.
Yeah, whatever it
Yeah.
is. It's your, and it's your sound. It's your vibe.
It's not broken, so I'm trying to fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it.
Do you do that? You go after something even though there's nothing wrong and just kind of
Oh yeah,
exploit it?
obsess over it.
Hmm.
Sure.
Oh, good. That's definitely a middle age thing.
Yeah, tell that to my brain at 3:30 a.m., which is apparently what time my brain wakes up now. Go to bed at 9, then about 3:30 or 4, I'm like, my brain's like, hey, let's go over something you said about 6 hours ago, over and over and over, and reanalyze that person's reaction to what I said, and fret and fret. Look at the clock. Oh, it's 5 till 5. Oh no, I got to get up soon.
You got to give your brain more time off than that.
Scroll, 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 scroll. I gotta when I turn my phone off, I get sleep. Imagine that.
Yeah. Yeah. I use the alarm on my phone, but I put it in the bathroom, so I have to get out of bed to answer the
Ooh.
alarm. Because otherwise, who knows what time I'll get up.
But how do you scroll through Instagram at 2:30 a.m. in
Don't.
bed?
I do not.
Ah,
I have a
what are you,
rule.
some kind of wizard?
No, I'm online or I'm doing stuff, for most of my days, so when I go to sleep, I usually read for like the last hour, so I don't have any of
Oh yeah.
the screen stuff. I
I
don't.
can't get through 4 pages of a book and I'm out.
Well,
I'm
that's
done.
reading does put you to sleep, but that's
Mhm,
the whole idea. And then you
mhm.
kind of you're not having that whole light thing, which is supposed to be so terrible for you. So,
Yeah,
you know,
it is. I'm
but,
sure of it.
but here we are. All these kids are gonna grow antennas and stuff like that. But do you
Yeah.
really do you stay current with new bands and that kind of thing?
I try to. Like I've often wondered, I will the classic one is like looking at one of those festival posters and just staring at it going, like sometimes I won't know one single name, and it's just 4 days of just, the big type font, and then it gets smaller and smaller. I almost start at the small ones to see if I know, like if well, maybe I'm friends with somebody or I know a band, and I go up. That's how I read them. And so many times, except if it's something like Riot Fest or Punk Rock Bowling, like I generally know all those bands, but
Yeah.
something like Coachella, I might know like 3 bands out of 100, or whatever they're called. They're not even bands; they're acts. I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. That's a better word for it. Yeah.
Yeah, I do my best. I mean, I do listen to WFMU,
Woo.
and I have, I still get those moments. Somebody will play something and go, "Holy shit, what is that?" And thank God it's all cataloged, and there it is. You can hear it anytime you want. I depend on that. Used to be fanzines, but I don't see those too much anymore. Um, I used to read Forced Exposure and Your Flesh, and like I said, Maximum Rock and Roll, Flipside. I guess they're still out there. I have a subscription to Maggot Brain and Cream. They're pretty good, but I don't know. I even look at the calendar on local venues, like punk venues, and I don't know who these people are. Who are these people with the music?
Damn it.
Damn it. Why don't I know these people?
Yeah. Sometimes I feel like I missed something. Because it was like I was going to shows, going to shows, going to shows, and then there was a little bit of a vacuum. And I don't think it really was COVID, but now it's like I don't recognize a lot of names.
I think a lot of it's just sort of splintered up into little bubbles,
Yeah.
thank you, social media and the internet. Everyone's got their own little built-in crowd. Like I drive by a big like hockey stadium, not stadium, but hockey dome on my way to work, and sometimes up on the sign, so many times there'll be like, I don't know, it can be even like a country band or a rock band. I have no idea who they are. It's like, wow, I have no clue. Uh, and I don't know. I don't TikTok. I don't have TikTok. Maybe everybody finds out on TikTok. The Chinese. It's the Chinese
Mhm.
controlling the scene.
I don't think you have to worry about it. I think that your feet are firmly planted in the underground, and that's fine.
Yeah,
You find stuff
I
for
have
your
enough.
way.
I have enough listening to WFMU. There, that sounds like a plug. It is a plug, damn it. That's
It's
why
fun.
I'm talking to you. I listen to WFMU.
I love that you are an FMU listener for a long, long time.
Heck yeah, and a pleasure.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
That is really cool. So this coming year, tell me about the most fun you can have this year, music and all that. What do you got? What's going on?
Oh man, playing out of town, starting to get on the road again.
Mhm.
Um, Showing people the new record, holding the record in their hands. Now that's coming soon. That's like in a few weeks.
What's the title of the record?
Blurred Wires. Blurred Wires. So we kind of came up with it, and then someone said, "What does it mean?" I just made up something off the cuff, and it kind of worked. Blurred wires, communication breakdown, misinterpretation, inferring meanings in communiques that don't exist.
You could go on.
I could go on.
Yes. Yes.
You can interpret these songs. The listener can interpret things as they like. There's no direct message. I always like a misinterpreted, misheard lyric way more than a real thing. Although we do include the lyrics on the cover,
So now everybody will know when you're yabba dabbing.
they do, yes. But Dang it. Yeah, why did you remind me of that? Yeah, Yabba doing. It's Yabba doing.
It's Yabba doing. Okay. Now I know that too.
Yes.
Well, this is very cool. Anything else that you wanted to talk about the band or about yourself?
No, my God, I've gone on and on. No, I'm good.
Good.
We talked for over an hour. Oh my God.
Did we really?
Yes.
Oh my God.
It's 7:20 my time. We started 6:15.
Wow, look at that. All right then.
Okay.
I will say thank you, truly. It's it's great to have you here.
It's
And
good to see you,
yeah, it's really good to see you.
old friend.
Yes, yes. Back on FMU again with
Hey, are you doing live sound anymore?
I haven't been. I have not. And yeah, no, I haven't. And there's really the venues that I used to work at are all gone.
Oh yeah. I remember I met you at downtown Minneapolis for that metal show, like 3 Inches of Blood and
Oh yeah.
cattle decapitation, a
And
bunch of
watch them die. Yeah,
yes, watch them die.
yeah.
That was a good show.
Yeah, yeah. That was a really fun tour. Yeah, it
I
was awesome.
bet.
I love touring. I really did love touring quite a bit. But it's not happening now. Now I just go and see shows and don't work them, which is okay too.
Oh, I know what I've started to do, and it's really fun. I do have a new hobby. I am doing photography. I'm taking photos of bands. Like I'm tonight. As a matter of fact, I should probably go soon. I'm gonna take pictures of Ultra Bomb tonight and try to hopefully catch Greg Norton jumping up with his bass as he is wont to do. Even at age 65, he bounces around on stage and jumps, and I'll let you know if I catch him in mid leap. That's my goal tonight. I'm getting pretty good at it. I've only been doing it about 6 months, but I know so many rock photographers around that are kind of helping me out with it. But it's really, really fun.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, I mean, however you keep on supporting the music scene. I mean, whether you're playing or photographing, and
That gets me to shows. That gets me to shows as a spectator. There's always that moment of the couch is feeling pretty good, or like, oh, I want to go take pictures, and then I end up interacting with the people that I might not know that I just took pictures of, and I'm meeting a lot more people. It's been kind of a revelation.
Yeah. Wow,
Live
that's really
band
cool.
photography.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, we'll look forward to seeing your photography and hearing your record. And
Yeah.
yeah. So that's the Upright Form. Is it on Skin Graft coming out?
Yep. Skin Graft Records.
No
Skin Graft.
comics. Those are just the
Yeah, they're still he still does comics for there's a band called Squid Pisser that did a comic record. Yeah. Squid Pisser is quite a band. They have masks and pretty wild.
Well, Squid Pisser is quite a name.
Yes.
So I think we'll check out Squid Pisser, but Upright Forms, Blurred Wires. I'm looking forward to that.
Thank you.
Alrighty, thanks. Thanks, Nick. So exciting stuff there. Blurred Wires, the album by Upright Forms, coming out the end of June 2024 on Skin Graft. Follow them. Their Instagram for the band is Upright Forms. Follow Nick on Instagram, NickSakes63. Check out Upright Forms on Bandcamp and Skin Graft Records on Bandcamp as well. I'm Diane. Thanks for listening. See you next time.